Sally, I understand the Board of Directors meeting has been changed. Why was it rescheduled and when is it?
For those of you who are not aware, when the governor came out and said that the stay-at-home orders were now going to be May 15th, the Board of Directors decided that the May 6th board meeting, we still didn't have any new information. So we have changed now the board meeting to May 15th.
Also wanted to ask you, there might be a misunderstanding out there by some people who believe the NMAA decided on their own to shut down high school athletics and activities for the spring season. Who is ultimately in charge of saying yes to high school athletics and activities starting back up?
And I don't think, JP, that it's just schools. You know, we see the businesses, what is essential, what is not essential, and that's coming from the governor's office. And so when the governor decided to close schools, that includes athletics and activities. And so I know that sometimes people say it's the NMAA. We are supportive of the governor and the public education department. And so when schools are closed virtually, then we do not have education-based athletics and activities.
As some counties and communities are hit harder by the virus than others, do all school districts have to be open before we can resume athletics and activities?
I think that's a question that we would have to ask the governor as it comes, as in the next few weeks, as we see what is she going to open, what is she not going to open. And at this time, all schools have been closed. And my job at the NMAA is to make sure in athletics and activities that we have a level playing field. And what is good for large schools is good for small schools, is good for all over the state. And so at this point, yes, it will be a statewide yes or no. We will not be going county by county. And I know that's hard because some schools may think that, hey, there's not even a COVID-19 case here in our county. But just like the small businesses are closed all over the state, we will be doing the same thing with athletics and activities, and we're just waiting for the governor to say it's okay.
We've told coaches and students that practices are not allowed. Will there be any punitive action against those schools or programs that go ahead and practice before any restrictions are lifted? What's the punishment?
You know, JP, that word punitive, it's hard in this times, and I don't like to be punitive. I want to continue to be positive and let's continue to work together. But in the past, pre-COVID-19, if a coach or a team, a school, if they were not abiding by our out-of-season coaching rules, in other words, they were practicing when they shouldn't be. What we were doing is when all the other schools started practice, when it was the first day of practice, those teams that were jumping the gun prior then would not be able to start. And we've had that in cases. We had a situation a few weeks ago, and that was the first thing I told the athletic director, that if we're in a group of 20, 25, whether the coach is there or not, then, when practice resumes and everything is open and the governor says, hey, let's go for it, then that team may not be able to start at that time.
An activity like Educators Rising is holding nationals this summer, but they're doing it virtually, and another activity, Speech and Debate's doing the same thing. Is that allowed?
That is one thing I'm going to take to our board of directors on the 15th. We say no athletics, no activities, but that cutoff date, JP, that we've been talking about has been Memorial Weekend. And, if we can do something virtually this summer, past Memorial Weekend, then I believe it would be good for the kids to be involved. But again, at this time, just like FFA is going to go to the Board of Directors on the 15th as well, because they're in the same situation as Educators Rising and Speech and Debate. And there might be some others out there that I'm not aware of. We will talk to the Board of Directors and get their blessing that, yes, we will be able to do that this summer.
If school resumes in the fall and sports and activities begin, do you foresee any sort of restrictions in place? Do you think fall sports will be impacted? Follow up to that too, is there a chance one sport could return and others might not be able to?
The big question. I say the big question because I think that's on everybody's mind. All I can tell you, JP, is that we're ready. We're ready for fall sports. I'm hopeful that fall sports will be open, schools will be open, we will be able to start even this summer to get kids together. I am a little bit concerned because this last week in the governor's address, she talked about events, and there could be limitation on events, and virtually every game is an event. And so we will continue, I will continue to communicate with the governor's office and the public education department. Also, I do know that she had put the governor's committee together to look at how are we going to open up the state. I have reached out to the owner of New Mexico United to give them my, let them know that I'm here. I'm here. High school sports is here, and we need to get going. We can't be an afterthought. We need to be, I want to make sure that we are in the forefront of everybody's mind. And so, again, it's a wait and see, but just to let you know that I'm on top of it, and I will continue to communicate with our member schools and our athletic directors. Once again, I'm hopeful, and let's just flatten the curve so we can get back to it.